The claim I'm refuting on is that implanting RFID chips will cause problems in the lives of those who are implanted. And the first claim was that implanting the chips can cause stolen identities, and is often compared to as internet, or the internet having people getting identities stolen. And people still go online to buy things, and I still do. Like, I only buy things from websites that I trust. So, like, sometimes I think that people get their IDs stolen is because they probably inputted it in the wrong place or something like that. And the RFID readers now on the market have the maximum range about 30 feet. So if they really wanted to hack your chip, then they have to be within 30 feet radius of yourself. And it is often, it is marketed as a life-saving device. So, for example, if you're brought in an emergency room and you're unconscious and unresponsive, they'll have a scanner in the hospital doorway that will read your chip's ID, and that ID will unlock your medical records from the database, and it will give the doctors the easiest way and the most effective way of getting your medical records. And another way it could be a life-saving device is that Mexico's kidnapping rate. The country has 3,000 abductions every year and are only second to Colombia worldwide. And Verichip partnered up with the National Foundation for Investigation for Lost and Kidnapped Children. And so far there are 1,000 Mexican citizens who have voluntarily had RFID chips implanted in them, and hopefully that can help lower the abduction rate, and is now being used to locate citizens. Her secondary claim is physical health risk, and it might get dislodged if implanted incorrectly. And newborn dogs who already have chips implanted in them, they're more active than we are along those years. And if they don't have a problem with it, I don't see how we can have a problem with it. And Dr. Cheryl London, a veterinarian at Ohio State University, said that tens of thousands of dogs who have been chipped, veterinary pathologists haven't reported any outbreaks of related sarcomas or area around the neck where they can have cancer, which brings me to the other example. She said that rats got tumors from them. She said that 10% of mice develop cancers, and I don't know how many of the 10% or how many there were, like, abundant of, or how many one can. The recent study that I could find was from 2006, and it was from France. And they detected 4.1% of 1,260 mice that had cancer. And that's a pretty small chance in 1,260. So, yeah, and I believe that it should also be tested in larger animals. Dr. Robert Benezra, head of the Cancer Biology Genetics Program at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Center in New York, said that testing should be done in larger animals, such as dogs or monkeys, before it is sold. But it's already been marketed, so we can't really do anything about that. But so far, throughout my gathering of information, I haven't found anyone with any cancerous things from it. And she used Kevin Warwick as one of the first people who got implanted, and he doesn't only have one chip, he has two. So the chips are used primarily for interacting with his environment, such as turning on lights, turning on the heater, or closing and opening doors. And if he has two, I don't see how one person can have problems with just one. And another person who has two is Amal Grastra, and he has one in each hand to access his front door, car door, and computer. So if people have two, I don't see how one person can't have one and have like problems with it. So that's why I think RFID chips are beneficial to the holder and should continue to be used.
All right, it comes down to that there are benefits from doing it and the risks are not that great. So let's try and keep it pretty simple. You list what the benefits are. It's kind of an interesting one, you know, that there are these medical benefits that we're going to get, and in case of kidnapping, we'll have, you know, LoJack for the kids, basically. You know, so that all sounds fine, and I think one of the things that you want to point out is that none of the people who've had these have indicated any evidence of problems. You know, if we've got 1,000 kids who've had these implants, have any of them developed cancers or tumors or any of those kinds of problems? And the notion of potential theft, I'm not sure that any of your arguments about the benefits really addresses the theft issue. You kind of, in essence, say, well, it's really because of the way they use it. You kind of equate it to being similar to stupid people online giving their personal information to some phishing site or something else like that. But I don't see how that's equivalent to the argument that the advocate's making, so I'm not sure that that analogy works very well for you there. The analogy that does work well for you, though, is the one to all the dogs getting the chips and they don't have any problems, and the inferences that are going on there. And I think you do a pretty good job with that, up to the point where you get to Dr. I think it's Benazir's evidence, who says, and they should do a lot more testing. And then you kind of come on and say, but it's too late for that. So, I mean, in essence, you're kind of undermining the position that you're taking there, and that's a little confusing. I don't know what the whole thing about the two chips, you know, the people that you have with the two chips, what inference are you trying to make from that? You've described what's going on, but I don't know what conclusion it is you're trying to arrive at from that example. All right, don't forget Monday, we have a quiz, and it's really important that you're here.